Good day, everybody. Welcome to Mind Prosperity, where we believe where your mind goes, your life follows. Today, we're going to take a little bit of a different direction, speaking about the difference between a bipolar disorder and a borderline personality disorder. And the reason I'm speaking about this, I'm involved in a lot of companies with a lot of people, lots of sessions, and it seems like this is something people kind of like wonder about. It's kind of like as if many people think, somebody is sometimes in a good mood, then they're in a bad mood. Are they bipolar? What's the difference between bipolar and borderline? So today we're going to answer that question, and also, to know how to interact and how to understand people. That is part of this. Now, one thing that I just want to say that we have to be very careful for, if somebody is diagnosed with like a mood disorder or a personality disorder, where with bipolar you get the mood disorder, with borderline you get the personality disorder. If somebody is diagnosed with that, be careful to always act as if they are the problem, because a lot of people will just say, for instance, around somebody with a personality or mood disorder, they will do things to upset this person, and if the person gets upset, they'll be just like, yeah, but remember, you are diagnosed with something, so it's your fault, and that is not okay. So that's just the first thing I want to say, and we're going to look at that a bit. But one thing that we have to realize, we're going to look at the characteristics. Now let's actually start with the symptoms in the DSM criteria, and then we're going to look at the difference. So let's start with bipolar disorder. So bipolar has mania or hypomania, manic episodes, hypomanic episodes, and these episodes can be characterized as being extremely excited, being extremely happy. So let's quickly look at the symptoms, and the symptoms will appear on the screen. It's excessive happiness or irritability, increased energy and activity levels, racing thoughts and rapid speed, risk-taking behaviors. We're going to speak about that one. Decreased need for sleep and poor judgment. So it's almost like as if these people are very busy, very excited. They will make decisions that will cost them a lot of money. Some of their worst decisions they make in the manic episodes, where they are like very happy, very excited, can be very easily irritated. Emotions are very high, don't sleep a lot, very, very excited, almost like as if they are on a high. And then they have these depressive episodes. And the symptoms of the depressive episode is persistent sadness, low energy, restlessness, problem concentrating, feeling guilt and hopelessness, and even suicidal thoughts. So this is where they go to an extreme low. So bipolar, if you think about poles, there are two poles. One is extremely positive, one is extremely negative, and people with bipolar are on these two poles. They go from episodes where they are extremely happy to extremely sad, extremely manic to extremely depressed. Now, bipolar disorder, let's quickly look at the symptoms of the bipolar disorder. Emotional instability. So here we see something that looks the same, because we see with bipolar with bipolar that there's emotional instability, and now we see with borderline personality disorder that there's also emotional instability. So these people struggle to control their thoughts, struggle to control their feelings, impulsive and reckless behavior. So impulsive and reckless behavior is also something we see in bipolar disorder. Strong emotional responses. So they react very intensely. Also something we see with bipolar disorder. People have strong emotions. With bipolar, we see it's very high, very low. We see it with borderline as well. Chaotic relationships. They have unstable relationships with others, which can also happen with bipolar. Because of the extreme highs and the extreme lows. And I believe in bipolar, especially in a manic episode, it's difficult for them to maintain healthy relationships because of that excessive high, the irritability. other mental problems that happens with bipolar personality disorder, issues such as addictions, eating disorders, body image concerns, and anxiety. So what is the difference between the two? And here is something that I want to get into is bipolar disorder is a mood disorder, meaning it's a disorder that affects a person's mood, not necessarily part of a person's personality, where bipolar disorder is part of a person's personality and not just the mood. But a very, very large distinction between the two, or how you would know that something is bipolar and how you would know that something is borderline. Bipolar episodes stretches over time, and this is something that's very important. So somebody with bipolar disorder will have a manic episode for quite a lengthy time. So they will have a manic episode, for instance, for 1, 2, or 3 months even, and then they will have a depressive episode for 1 or 2 or 3 months. So it's kind of like over time where they feel a certain way. Where people with borderline personality disorder, they can feel those different emotions even within the same hour or less. So they will be extremely they will be on an extreme high, extremely impulsive, extremely energetic in one moment, and then extremely angry, extremely sad, extremely depressed in a next moment within the same hour even, and the emotions fluctuate a lot of times within the same day. So with bipolar, you will see, after a time, people go into the depressive episode, and it carries on for a while. Where with the borderline, it's like I said, on the same day, even in the same hour, very up and down in emotions. So and it's very, very confusing when you have relationships with people, and I'm not just speaking about romantic relationships, but any relationship with somebody who has borderline personality disorder, because they are extremely unpredictable. So you would wonder, what happened? You were so happy, everything was so great, and now all of a sudden you are so angry and you're crying and you're hysterical. What is happening? So that is a very big distinction between the two. And then the next one, before I give you the next one, I'm only going to speak about these two differences. Please like, please subscribe, leave us a comment, tell us what you want us to talk about. We're trusting to go to 1,000 subscribers, and your subscription can truly help us. So the second one, when it comes to triggers, because borderline is a personality disorder, it has a lot more to do with triggers. So something triggers the behavior, but they are very easily triggered. People with borderline personality disorder are very easily triggered. So they are triggered. People with what did I say? I spoke about borderline. Okay, people with bipolar is not necessarily triggered, or that they can be triggered like anybody else, but they're not triggered into their symptoms. So their symptoms come and go over a few months or so on. So they won't be triggered and become and go into a manic episode, and they won't be triggered and go into a depressive episode. It's part of their mood. So they will be in a manic episode for a while, whether they necessarily triggered or not. They will be in a depressive state, whether they triggered or not. Where people with borderline personality disorder get triggered very easily, and this is why the emotions fluctuate so much. So what is the treatment for bipolar and for borderline? Okay, so with bipolar, there will be a lifelong treatment. And this is where it's very important when a person has either borderline or bipolar disorder, you have to be diagnosed. Okay, so this is not a video to say go check it, people, and go diagnose it. This is just information to help you distinguish between the two. But for somebody to have borderline or somebody to have bipolar, they have to be diagnosed by a professional. And borderline personality disorder, or let's start with bipolar personality disorder, bipolar disorder, sorry. it will be a lifelong treatment. So it's very important when it comes to bipolar, because they go to manic episode and then to depressive episodes, to make sure that with the right medication, with the right treatments, such as cognitive behavioral therapy or ERP, which is a part of cognitive behavioral therapy. These people can live a very stable and healthy life, but because the manic episodes sometimes feel so energetic, people tend to go off their treatment, which can be dangerous. The therapy helps people to understand their condition and how to manage their emotions and manage their mood. With borderline personality disorder, there's a dialectical behavioral therapy, which is part of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, but it includes a lot of mindful practices, which also helps people to understand their mood, help them with emotional regulation, help them with their impulsivity, because it's something that people need to understand. And when they are in that place where they can use their mind, where they can use their behavior, and where they can use practices like mindfulness to understand and manage the situation, it can be of a great help. Okay, so I hope this helped you to understand the differences between bipolar and borderline. I'm just going to give a quick summary. So bipolar, so let's go to the similarities again. Very much up and down emotions, very high, very low, very excited, very sad. Where with bipolar, it can go on for a few months, where they are in their manic episode, very high, sometimes very excited, very energetic, and then for a few months they will go into a depressive episode, very low, very depressed. And it's not triggered, or not necessarily. I'm not saying they cannot be triggered, but the disorder is not determined on triggers. Where with borderline personality disorder, same day, even same hour, there can be a lot of fluctuations in their emotions, extremely excited, extremely happy, to extremely angry and extremely sad. In a question of seconds or moments, that can change, and they can become very easily triggered. Thank you so much for watching. We believe we're going to see you soon again. We love you, and goodbye.